Whether you're hard stuck in Platinum, Diamond, or Masters this season, I promise you, this video will help you get out of whatever rank you're stuck in and improve your game sense for this upcoming split on Kings Canyon. We're going to cover 5 specific reasons why most players get stuck in these ranks. This is an Apex Legends Masterclass. I feel it's important to note that instead of diving into each individual rank and explaining why you're stuck in them, I'm addressing them as a whole, and here's why. The reality is, once you get to at least Platinum rank, you have a decent understanding of the game. Now, in order to succeed through these different ranks, it truly comes down to applying these tips more and more. It's like turning a volume knob ever so slightly. The more you tweak something, the better of an outcome you will start to see. And if you can't amplify some of these tips, you will be getting killed by players who can. This season, the rank system was drastically changed, causing for an influx of players to reach Diamond and Masters rank. The changes ultimately made it so that players were rewarded more for kill points and placement points than they ever were before. Now, I don't want to take away from any player's accomplishment this season. If you reached a new rank, congratulations, and don't listen to anyone trying to take that away from you. But I do want to keep it real with you guys and say that the system will most likely be changed in Season 13, and it could make gaining RP harder in the future. So it's important to continuously improve your gameplay and your game sense. Here is the first reason why players get hard stuck in Apex Legends: solo queuing. At certain ranks, solo queuing becomes a much tougher task. For instance, players usually struggle the most in the higher elos, Diamond or Masters rank. And the main reason is, well, skill levels start to drastically separate, and there's far less higher elo players solo queuing. If you watch the majority of the Apex Predator streamers, they are not solo queuing. They are playing with a team. And therefore, this propels the lobbies to a different standard. You can't expect to go in solo queue in the highest rank like Masters and be successful when the most of the lobby is playing squatted up. There's severe disadvantages at play here, mostly centering around skill, lack of communication, and not being on the same page with one another. If you are solo queuing in these higher elos like Masters or Pred lobbies, your best bet is to prey on third parties, unless you're taking a fight off drop. And this isn't some cheesy advice either. Everyone in those lobbies is preying off third partying one another, so it's probably your best bet to winning a fight and gaining RP with randoms. Plus, a third party could be the easiest way for you to win if nobody on your team is ever saying a word. Now, if you are fortunate enough to survive off drop, always be keeping an eye on your teammates. You will need to size them up. Are they leading the pack, or are you? Are they more interested in looting or fighting? Are they taking a lot of damage, or does it seem like they're outputting a lot of damage? There's a lot of nuance that needs to be picked up on when you solo queue, and this is even more amplified in the highest of elos. Now, ultimately, I never suggest solo queuing in anything past Diamond, but if you're dead set on it, I suggest you implement what I just mentioned and listen very carefully for these next few tips. They are designed to help you continue to rank up. The second reason is players struggle when to know to take a fight or when not to. And this is a huge hang up for just about every player in any level of ranked. And I'd love to give you some blanket statement tip here, but that would definitely be dishonest of me, as there's just way too many factors going on at all times for a one-size-fits-all approach. What I can do is give you some insight on how most high-level players evaluate if it's the right fight to take or not. Always be mindful of your surroundings. Not just the POI or part of the map you're on, but literally the landscape of it all. Specific angles or advantages can be the ultimate leverage here. What is your team's loot situation? Do you not have a great loadout, or maybe you only have 40 rounds of ammo? Maybe all 3 of you guys are still on white armor. Whatever it is, this can and should determine the timing and type of fight you're looking for. What time of the game are you taking this fight? Is it early game? You should have a rough understanding of the neighboring teams, as you should be free looking from the dropship. Is it the middle of the game during a rotation? I mean, this could be way more hectic, as another team is likely to be rotating too and looking to get involved. Is it at the late part of the game? Does your team already have kill points? Do you have to give up good positioning to take the fight? Or is the fight something you need to take because the team is holding you out from the circle? What about advantages? Do you guys have a positional advantage? Like, have you only seen 2 opponents on the left, but 1 guy's on the far right? Have you gotten any shots at them to see what armor they're on? This could be a huge advantage in and of itself if your team has the better armor in the fight. Did they just waste one of their precious abilities, and now's your time to pounce while they're on cooldown? Everything I just listed here are things that I'm thinking about as I'm in a ranked match. And it sounds like a lot, but the truth is, it is a lot. But I'm keeping it real with you guys, and this is what it will take. Be mindful of taking fights when you don't need to. So many times, I'll see players just force a fight when they already have kill points, and they ultimately just need the placement points to gain the max amount of RP for their match. Like, just because you see someone, this doesn't mean you need to fight them. You should be evaluating your team's current circumstances and try to make the best decision in that moment. Number 3 is positioning, or lack of it. See, most players often overlook when and where they need to rotate to each game. Now, as we play the maps more and more, we start to get an idea of what's a preferable route for our rotation match to match. Sometimes we will be gifted the best spot in zone from sheer luck, but other times we'll have to travel all the way across the map just to get into the first circle. Of course, legends can assist with these aspects, but there's really 3 specific things I look out for when I'm making rotations. The first is my team looking to fight, or do we already have KP and we're just trying to get into zone? Despite this sounding very obvious, I can tell you, lots of players don't even begin to think about it. Number 2 is what parts of the map do we have to go through? If it's somewhere like Cage that we have to go through, I definitely don't want to put our team into line of sight of the enemy that's probably just sitting up on top of it, as there's really no good way to take that fight in 9 out of 10 scenarios, on top of the fact if a third party hears these shots and they pull up, our team is probably the easier target and will be the ones getting ganged up on. I also assess, is this spot in the center of the map or on the edge? You will notice places on the edge of the map tend to get third-partied less, and in the middle of the map tends to have more trouble. On Kings Canyon, I hate to say it, things are pretty wild, as this map is just too small, so it feels like everywhere has a similar potential for a crazy pileup to happen. The third specific thing to look out for, though, is scanning survey beacons to not only know the next ring location, but to become familiar with the zones that reoccur over and over. And this makes you have a leg up on your competition. Just understand that rotating late causes lots of issues for the majority of teams, as the unpredictable tends to occur. And on the flip side, sometimes holding the best real estate in the circle makes your team have the biggest target on you for the entire lobby. This can be a very frustrating thing to deal with, but when in doubt, it's always better to rotate earlier. Number 4 is aim and accuracy. Listen, some of you will just reach a new rank and it will feel like the competition compared to your previous rank is night and day. If you feel like you're just getting smoked in the new elo you've reached, then I suggest one simple thing. Go back to pubs for a little while to get more reps in of fighting enemies. Try to get more kills and higher damage than you ever have before. Your gun skill and accuracy may be an issue, and there's no better way to streamlining it than to just hop into some pubs and practice fighting without the risk of losing RP. Sure, you could go play Control or Arenas, but emulating the BR aspect of pubs is a bit more valuable in my eyes. Whichever you decide, just get some more reps in. The 5th reason why players get hard stuck in Apex Legends is they lack a leader on their team. When I coach players in Apex, I've noticed lots of people do solo queue, whether they'd like to or not. Now, we all know the difficulties when it comes to finding a set squad, and I'm sure most of you have heard me discuss how to go about finding a ranked squad. However, I do want to give you some strict solo queue tips that could have a huge impact on your games in ranked. You've got to try to be the leader. It doesn't matter if your teammates don't reply or they don't even listen. It's practice in and of itself. If you're set on solo queuing, then you should be set on controlling your destiny in these games too. Therefore, you must try to be vocal with the randoms. This will help build your leadership capabilities, and it will also give the team direction in the majority of games you try this in. You've got to trust me here. And there's 5 specific traits to becoming a better leader in Apex Legends. I covered them all in this video here, so check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace.